Today we start hour 17. It is one of my most favorite lessons to teach. Always at the beginning of class, a review, at least 10 minutes. At least 10 minutes. And to change the pace a little bit and to help them realize how far they've come, only make a negative question and they have to answer it negatively and only use the verb study. For example, isn't it worth studying? Didn't he say to study? Don't you enjoy studying? Isn't she about to study? She let you study? Didn't he keep you from studying? Hasn't she got to study? Don't they feel like studying? Isn't she supposed to be studying? Didn't he say to study? Didn't he say he happened to study English? Didn't you see them studying? Didn't you get him to study? So you're going to go through these. You may have to look down at the list, of the guide which you've printed out, which briefly shows you the pattern, and just weave in and out of them. It will help them tremendously. As I've said before, beginning with yesterday's lesson, continuing on to today, we're going to start combining maybe 2 or 3 patterns together. So they've got to have the ability to make a question, recognize it, and respond appropriately. Hour 17. This is all about alternatives to asking questions with when. When did you go? When did you meet her? When will you be there? These type of questions with when. I'd say 90% of the time, these are the only alternatives that we're going to show them. But first, let me go to this one. This has half Korean, but I'm going to show you a little dynamic which happens in almost all of these lessons that you'll learn in hour 17. When you tap on that, and I'm sure this is the same in their native tongue, whatever country's people you're teaching. How long ago, and Q is the question, how long ago did he go? Instead of long, look how this happens. How many minutes ago did you go? How many hours ago? How many days ago? How many weeks? How many months? How many years ago did you go? In Korean, it is exactly the same. They just changed this part. So just keep this in mind. We're going to go back here, and I'm going to show you how it plays out. We're going to go to this PDF here. Okay. I've put this example on the side so it will highlight it for you. There are a variety of different ways to ask a question when. How long ago did you go? In the future? After how long will you go? In how long will you go? They are exactly the same. Instead of long, as you see here, you can put after how many minutes will you go? How long did you study? For how long did you study? How long did you study for? They're all very natural sounding. They're all used. How long does it take to, any verb, how long does it take to eat dinner? How long does it take to finish that test? This one was used a lot when I was in Korea. I must have heard this thousands of times. I wish I had a penny for every time I heard it. How long has it been since you went? How long is it since you went? Even though this is the present, it is referring to the past. How many years has it been since you saw him, right? Now, let me tell you that the advantage of learning to memorize the pattern is this. When the native speakers speak, how long has it been since you went? How long has it been since you met her, that's like a freight train going by. I mean, the new student cannot hear all of that. All they'll probably hear is how long since and went, right? But if they memorize this, they know that this is the pattern. How long has it been since you met her? I mean, how good will a beginning student sound and put to shame people from other places that are learning English, little institutes where they teach it. When they begin using this, they'll just be absolutely floored. It took me about a year before I even realized it was a pattern in Korean and even used it. It took me years before I even used it. So the advantage of learning the patterns is that, first of all, they're used a lot. They will sound natural. They will not make a mistake. They will gain confidence, dispel their frustrations, because this, as long as you don't change it, is okay. For one thing here, though, how long does it take? Sometimes you'll hear in here, to be specific, how long does it take him, right here, him to do it? How long does it take for him to do it? Those are covered in the initial video I have of the lesson, but those are also alternatives. How often do you go? How many days a week instead of often? How many days a week? How many hours a year? How many months a year can go in besides this? And here, when was the last time you went? When was the first time you went? When was the last time you went? You can even put the present tense here, and it still sounds good. When is the last time you met her? When is the first time you talked to her? So we're going to study in this hour 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 patterns. Initially, they will find it a bit confusing. So it's your job as a teacher, and I'm sure you can do this better than I, to go through them one at a time. What I do is, and they've got to know the answer too, obviously. If you know the language they speak, you can say these in their language, which I would do in Korean to them, and they would have to, if I said in Korean this, and they said, translated it this, I realize that they haven't made the connection between the two. With the answers, what I do is, in this one here, I have what we learned above and what the answer would be. How long ago did he come? You're always going to hear a go. After how long and in how long? You're always going to hear that. The interesting thing about in is when it's used with the past tense, it always means the future. And sometimes it means within. The answer. In can mean either, and how long will he be there? He will be there in 2 hours. If in a sentence, in is used in the past tense, it usually means within. He finished it in 2 hours, means within. In the future, it usually means after. You can be specific by saying within. So these are the answers. Sometimes students get confused with for and during. When are they used? I always tell them whenever a number comes out, you're going to use for. For 1 hour, for 3 hours. And during is always followed by a noun. During the summer, during lunch. A little while ago, I mentioned the freight train going by, this long one here, which is used a great deal. Just have them memorize the answer. It's been time since I verb past. You can even put the past participle here. How long has it been since you met him? It's been 2 years since I met him. Simple. You can either, use this here too. So how long does it take to do it? If I ask them that, they have to answer, it takes 2 hours to do. I want the same question. How often or how many times a year? This is how it's done. When was the last time? When was the next time? Now, one thing here is after I did my lessons, I began to realize that sometimes how long ago and how long was it before she came? How long ago did she came? It's the same. But as also with this, how long will it be before she comes? But in fact, how long ago and after how long and in how long are the most used, so I mostly review those with the students. And, if they're real go-getters, they can also learn this. But initially, I only teach how long ago, after how long, in how long ago, and I leave this one and this one alone. These are simply the Korean patterns. Think of if you're bilingual, think of saying this pattern in your language. In Korean, it's this. The answer, 9 times out of 10, is going to be this. If I ask an American, how long does it take to go there? Because they're strong with the language, they may say 1 hour. Very short answers. Ask them to make a full sentence, they will say it will take 1 hour to go. This is like, I mentioned like playing tennis. If you're hitting a ball to somebody and they keep hitting the ball out of the court back to you, then it's no fun playing them after a while. It's the same way with patterns. If you throw a pattern at somebody unconsciously, the native speaker will answer it with the same pattern. Do you like to go? I like to go. Do you plan on going? I plan on going. They'll give you the same thing back most of the time. So we're teaching the students good habits. We're teaching them not only what the question is, but what the answer is. Especially when people speak fast, they know what the answer is going to be. Somebody says, how long has it been since you went? They'll hear how, since, and went. I'm going to go very slowly then. It's been 1 hour since I went. Simple. It makes it simple. Patterns provide a platform of simplicity for those learning language. Otherwise, there is pure mayhem for years. People study grammar, middle school, high school, college, English. They still can't talk. Why? Because one lesson they'll study this. A month later, they'll study this. A month later, they'll study this. They don't see the big picture. They keep seeing this small picture, and it's easy to forget a small picture because you don't see how things are related. Here, this shows you how things are related and gives you a good grip on how to sound good when you talk. By the way, one other thing, let me go back to the pronunciation of months. How many months has it been? I always tell students it's difficult to say ths. So how do I pronounce months? It's mons is the way I would pronounce it. How many months has it been? It's like an S. It's not, the th is really silent. Sometimes you'll find students stumbling over months. That's a bit awkward. There it is. It's if you want to ask questions regarding when, this is the beautiful way to ask the same questions and answer the same questions. Thank you.